Hi, I'm Rosie,
I'm Leslie.
and we're going to be talking about racism in New York City.
According to Articles 1 and 7 in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it can help us prove and fight for the justice of which racism is a crime. Article 1 of the Declaration of Human Rights states, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Everyone should be treated equally, no matter how one looks. Racism divides people into different social groups. One feels more entitled than the other. One looks down on another race. Obviously, these are many issues about race.
Article 7 states that all are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law.
Similar to Article 1, we are all similar and are born equal. Therefore, people should not hate on one another due to their skin color and or different backgrounds and cultures.
So these two articles protect the people and talk about how racism should not be a huge problem like it is today. So the first article we're going to talk about is called "Racism is Everywhere, So Why Not Move South?" This article is basically about how an African American woman was walking down Madison Avenue and went shopping to some boutiques on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and she just felt discriminated because people would just watch her, and she felt that
As if she didn't belong.
yeah, and like people just shouldn't assume that you can't afford something based on your appearance. And she mentioned how she understood why many black millennials are moving down to the South. And it makes sense because, as we talked in the Latino studies class, people feel comfortable where
More of their, like,
they share the same culture with others. Like New York City, how we mentioned, the different bureaus and all that. So I was able to like understand where she was coming from based on the background knowledge that the class had to offer. Okay, the second article we're going to talk about is called "America is Still a Deeply Racist Country." And she talks about her experience visiting visiting Hunts Point, which is a subway stop in the Bronx. And she never realized how segregated New York City was. And she talked about how it took me a few months of slow recognition, fighting a thought I did not want to believe. We are still a deeply racist country. And she talks about how in that neighborhood it was just
The
minorities.
reason we picked this is because the woman that felt left out and felt like she didn't belong, I feel like we all relate to that in some type of way. Like,
Yeah, like me personally, like if I were to live here, I would not feel comfortable living on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Like I would go where there's a lot of Hispanics.
For example, Queens and like Corona is known for Hispanics.
Yeah, and like we shouldn't feel that way. We should be able to feel
Like,
comfortable wherever.
Personally, I live in Astoria where it's like full of Greek people and there's not that many Hispanics. So it does feel weird because it's like they got their little ceremonies and holidays and you're just kind of like, oh, can't relate. So it is weird.
The second article that we talked about was located in Hunts Point. She talks about Hunts Point, which is a subway stop in the Bronx, like I mentioned before. And I personally witnessed this, so I was able to relate to how she talked about how racism is still alive because I do see like the poor people. And like in Manhattan, where it's mostly whites, you don't really see that. So I was able to relate to this, and I want to speak on it so maybe we could change something. So, like, also talking about Article 7 of the Declaration of Human Rights, that we are all equal before the law and we're entitled to
Share the same rights as everyone else.
yeah, without any discrimination. So this is very important because me, like, I wouldn't want that to happen to my child. And I wouldn't want the location of where I am located to affect that. It's a very personal issue that none of us would want to see.
Something that has to be more focused on, like change. Like some people assume that like racism has stopped,
but no.
But it hasn't. I feel like it's just gotten somewhat worse.
So we all, at the end of the day, we all bleed the same color. We all breathe the same air. We're all
the same.
We're all humans. We're all humans. So yeah, let's stop this.